Welcome to Candlewick Library. I'm Cheryl, and today I'm celebrating 1 year on Booktube. I decided last September in 2023 that I wanted to try this Booktube thing. And so it was on September 21st of last year that I put up my first video. It was a get to know me tag. And I think the next day I put up the Booktube newbie tag. I thought it would be really fun to just do the 1 year Booktube anniversary tag. I did not write down who the original person was that created this. So if you know, please write it in the comments. I'm not sure why I didn't have that information. I'm assuming that whoever I watched for the questions didn't have the original creator in the description, or I just forgot to write it down. But I would like to give credit wherever the credit is due. So if you know, like I said, please let me know. The first question is, how have you changed from your first video to now? Well, my first video, I did not do a thumbnail for it. And so it is a really funny screen grab of me. But then after the fact, I didn't feel like going back and changing it. And so between the first and second video, I got on Canva and learned how to do the thumbnails. And that was something that I kind of made a decision early on, that most of my thumbnails would just be something I created rather than pictures of me taken specifically for the video. So that's one thing that has changed, is that my first video doesn't have a thumbnail and the rest of them have. And then another small thing is that I am no longer sitting on the floor to film. For quite a while, I was sitting on the floor in our bedroom in front of my bookshelf in there. And then eventually I got some chairs that were in that bedroom. And so then I started sitting on the chair in front of that bookshelf. And then of course now I've moved into this library. Probably the biggest thing is that I am more confident making my videos. I still fumble over words. I still worry about how it's going to come out, if I'm going to say the right things, all of that. But I do feel more confident in making the videos than I did a year ago. Number 2, what video are you the most proud of and why? I have a couple of answers to this. One is the whole series that I did on the book No Man Knows My History by Fawn Brodie. That was something I started right at the beginning because I knew that as an ex-Mormon that had used that book in, for lack of a better term, my deconstruction of that faith, I wanted to go through it again, chapter by chapter, and just talk about the content in the chapter, but also show the sources, because a lot of people still to this day will use that book, calling it anti-Mormon literature, saying it's full of lies, without ever having done any of their own research on it or having read it. And when it first came out, there were rebuttals from the LDS Church saying that everything in it was lies. But now, in 2024, most of those things they actually admit to on their website now. They just have to put their own faithful spin on it. And so people thinking that it's all still lies and thinking that it's been debunked, they don't know that they're actually wrong. It's really important to me that people know that they don't still believe these lies about people that were telling the truth. And so it was really important for me to put the videos out there just in case anyone ever wanted to watch it. And also, while I was reading it the first time, I would go and I would follow the sources, and I would go to LDS Church sources to find out if the things were correct. And so I was able to share those things that I found on the video, so that if somebody wanted to know what the book said or was reading it but didn't really believe that any of those things were true, I wanted them to have an easy way to see what the church said about it. So I'm proud of them because it was something that was important for me to do, because I felt like it would help somebody, and I know that it has helped some people. I've had people reach out to me, I've had people comment, and I've had people in life that I've talked to that have been helped by those videos. So I am very proud of that, but also those videos took so much work. Most of them are very long, and so there was obviously filming and editing, but also they took so much prep work. Each video took me reading the chapter again and taking notes on it, following all the sources. I have an entire file box separated into all the different subjects of all the different reasons that I left the LDS Church, the things that I wish people that were still Mormon knew. They will tell you that they know everything and that, talk to somebody in the religion, not somebody that left. But the truth is that most members don't know most of it. And I certainly didn't. And so I have an entire file box of all of this stuff that I printed out when I was going through everything. And so I had to go back through those things, print out new things of new information that came out, highlight things, try to figure out how I wanted to fit that into the video. The polygamy ones especially took so many hours of work to prepare. And so I am proud of those because I feel like it was good content. I don't know that they're perfect, but I feel like I did a good job of getting the information out there. But also, I'm proud of the videos because they took so much work. On a more kind of fun note, I'm proud of the movie adaptation videos that I made because those seem to get a lot of interaction. It seems like people enjoyed those, and those were really fun to make. And then my Back to Hogwarts readathon announcement video, that was really fun to edit and to make. And also, I've just really had a fun time with this readathon, and so it's something I think I'll really look back on fondly. But number 3 is, what is your most popular video? My most popular video is one of the No Man Knows My History videos. It's the very last one. I entitled it The End of the Story and My Final Thought. I'm not sure why that one in particular has so many more views than the rest. The next closest one to it was the very first of the 3 polygamy videos, and that one had 703. But the end and final thoughts, for some reason, had 1.1 thousand. The next one that comes closest to that is the first in the 2 videos I made about me leaving the Mormon church. And so it was the one just about my life in it, of what it was like to be a Mormon for me. And that one got 1,000 views as well. I'm assuming that by most popular, that means the one with the most views. My videos that have ex-Mormon content, they are obviously the ones that get the most views on my channel. Number 4, what was an unexpected surprise of being on YouTube? It wasn't necessarily unexpected, but I was hoping to find community on YouTube, and I have. And so I'm hoping that that will continue to grow, to strengthen friendships I've already made. And I'm sure there'll be some that I'll make of people I don't even know yet or barely know. So it's not necessarily unexpected, but I think that even though I had it as a hope, I maybe didn't think that it would really happen. Same thing with my numbers. Like, I know I'm a small channel compared to most of the people I watch and most of Booktube. As I was preparing to film, when I looked at my channel to see which ones had the most views, I had 383 subscribers. That kind of goes up and down. I know that I'll get subscribers, I'll lose subscribers, and it kind of goes back and forth and just kind of has gradually risen the whole year. 383 seems very small compared to a lot of people, but that's a lot for me because I didn't expect it. I went into this thinking if I get 100, I'm gonna feel excited. I just wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't think I would get a ton of followers. One, because I knew that I would be slightly controversial having ex-Mormon content. I said on a previous video that when I watched videos about starting YouTube, that a lot of people talk about how if you want to get a big gathering, you kind of want to find your niche. You want to have the one thing that you really do with all of your videos, and I'm kind of all over the place. So having Christian videos, having book videos, but my tastes are so kind of random and all over the place there as well, but also having homeschool content, also having ex-Mormon content, that there's not going to be a lot of people that want all of that content, and I would probably do better if I only stuck to one. But I didn't want to do that. And so I just kind of decided I didn't care. I just wasn't sure how many people I would actually get. And I do know that there are people on here who commented really early on, but as soon as I started making the ex-Mormon content, they disappeared. And so I know that that alienates a lot of people on Booktube. But again, it's something that I feel is important to put out. And then I know that there's a lot of ex-Mormons that would come for that content, but then would be put off by homeschooling or Christianity. So it really does surprise me that even though 383 is still small compared to so many people, I am surprised that I've gotten there. Number 5, what is the hardest thing about creating videos for YouTube? For me, I would say it is 2 things. And one is we all have accents and ways of talking from where we live. I know that I have a little bit of a Utah accent with some words, but I also have other accents from other places I've lived, and they all kind of mix together. And so sometimes I say things and I think I sound really weird. And I didn't realize that about myself, I don't think. And then there's also usually phrases or words that you use that maybe aren't grammatically correct based on upbringing or environment. And I didn't realize some of the ones I had. And so the hardest thing for me is something that I have taken from here, and I also have it in my normal life, of trying to weed out some of the things that I say that are wrong or that I know are grammatically incorrect, but I still say them anyway because it's of habit. Some of you may have noticed this, but sometimes when I'm talking, I will say this person that did something instead of who did something. My daughter would correct me sometimes, and I thought it was just something I did occasionally. Then I started editing my videos with that in mind and realized how often I do it. That drives me nuts because I know the correct way to say it. For some reason, it's like my brain clicks off and I say it wrong. And I've probably done that with something on this video. I just try to be really mindful about what I'm saying, but I know that sometimes I mess up and then I see it in the editing process. And then editing is the other hard thing. I'm not a huge fan of the editing process itself, and yet I am kind of a perfectionist. I don't want people to have to listen to me ramble, because I do ramble sometimes. I don't really feel comfortable posting videos that are completely unedited. But then editing seems to take so long, and I'm not sure that I'm very good at it. I use iMovie on my computer. I feel like there's probably a better way to edit videos than that. It's very glitchy sometimes, but I haven't figured out yet what I want to do instead. Editing is something that I wish I was better at. Number 6, thoughts on equipment. What has been the most useful piece of equipment you've bought? My phone holder. I film with my phone, and when I first started a year ago, I didn't want to put out a lot of money. I wasn't sure if this was something I was going to enjoy or even want to do long term. I wanted to give it a couple of months and see if this was something I was going to even do long term. And so I didn't want to go out and spend a ton of money on things and then decide I didn't like it. So I went on Amazon and I just looked up a tripod. And I didn't really have any specifications of what I wanted it to be like or, things for it to have. I just searched for tripod for a phone and looked for one that had good reviews that was under $20. That was the amount I gave myself. I said I could spend $20 on equipment for filming. So I found a really cheap tripod. I actually really like it because it is adjustable, and then it holds my phone and it has a ring light around it. And then I got this little microphone that clips onto my shirt that plugs into my phone. Both of those things together came to less than $20. And then like I said, I use the iPhone on my computer for free. And so that is the equipment I use to film: my phone, my tripod, my microphone, my computer. I think the most useful is my tripod. I do like the ring light because sometimes the lighting isn't great and I like to have better lighting. Even though I didn't initially look for a ring light, I'm glad that I have one on my tripod because I do think it makes the lighting in my videos more consistent. And I'm glad that I got a microphone, but I do want a better one. And so I haven't decided yet how to go about that, what kind to get. This one is a little glitchy sometimes. Sometimes it makes me louder or softer. Number 7, have you had to deal with negative feedback or comments? How did you handle it? I did talk about this recently in another video. I have, and again, it's mainly because of the ex-Mormon content. And I've had a few comments where I have no idea what they're saying. I don't know if it's negative or positive because it's not very clear. But then on my ex-Mormon videos, I definitely have had negative comments because people don't like it when you talk bad about their beliefs and their religion. And I understand that. I was there once too. And so I try to be kind and open-minded toward those people as well. Like I said on the other video, there's only been one time when I've ever deleted a comment, and it was because it wasn't just disagreeing with me. He was being mean to me and to other commenters. As far as handling it, I just read them. Sometimes I respond, sometimes I haven't, and I expected it. I expected it when I made the videos. I wouldn't have made ex-Mormon videos if I couldn't handle getting some negative feedback. Number 8, what advice would you give to someone thinking of starting YouTube? I would say to do it. I think it's really fun. I think if you go into YouTube with only the goals of growth and making money, I think that it could be a really frustrating and stressful thing because it already can be a little bit. You want things to look a certain way, or you want to be doing your best. You want to be putting out a certain amount of videos on certain days. I know I do that sometimes where I put way too much pressure on myself to get videos out on the days that I post. Then I have to remind myself it really doesn't matter. It's not a job for me. This is for fun. So I do think that it's good to have the goals and try to stick with them, but it also can be something that you put too much pressure on. If you do go into it for the growth and the money, I would probably be extremely frustrated with my subscriber count, with the amount of comments I get, with the amount of views I get, because even when you have the subscribers, you don't get the views or the comments to necessarily reflect that. And for me personally, that would take away what I have come to love in YouTube, which is just doing what I want, doing what I enjoy, and hoping that there are some people that come along for the ride. And so if you're thinking about making a YouTube video, I would just say do it. I would also suggest that you think really hard about what you want your channel to be. Do you want it to be more casual, or do you want it to be more creative? And set those goals and expectations for yourself that are going to be ones that you can meet and that you will enjoy. And know that it probably won't be exactly what you expected, for good or for bad. I would say that those are my biggest takeaways after a year. Going forward now, I plan on still continuing to do what I have been doing. There will be occasional homeschool content. There will be occasional ex-Mormon content. And obviously that's going to come up in videos more often just because it is a huge part of my life. But most of my content will be books and more books. I hope that as time goes on, I will get better at editing. I will get better at articulating what I want to say without having to edit very much, and feel comfortable with that. And like I said, I hope I continue to make more connections here. All of you that are watching, thank you for coming along on this ride with me. I really appreciate every subscriber, every view, every like, every comment, and I really thank all of you for the support that you've given me over the last year.